Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for watching that break. So right now we do have vetoes going on. MCanning versus allegedly Tony Stark. Something tells me that's not really Tony Stark.
Wait a second.
Oh, didn't
I
that new
suppose you're gonna
Spider-Man movie come out? I saw a lot of people tweeting about that.
That's what I was gonna ask. I suppose you're gonna try and see that. Yeah, it's out.
I feel bad. I've missed a lot of really good movies recently. I haven't seen Wonder Woman. I haven't seen Baby Driver, but I really want to see that one before it gets out of theater.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Spider-Man was one I was kind of 50-50 on. I thought it looked kind of interesting, but I was also like, oh cool, did they show everything in the trailer?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, everyone has so far given it really good reviews. I mean, it certainly has its faults here and there from the reviews that I've read, but it seems like a more, like, to be honest, as much as I loved Tony Maguire as Spider-Man, not
Did
so much
you?
Yeah, I thought he did a perfectly fine job.
Oh, I thought it was awful.
Well,
I didn't like the first one at all. Actually, I have
the
a
first
fun...
one was
Hang on,
mediocre. Second one was really good.
I have a really silly story about this. Sorry guys, my camera's not on me on purpose right now, I'm doing something. But my friend in high school was like kind of a dopey kid. And we knew he was like just kind of like a dumb guy, but you know, he's our buddy and all that. So we're watching the Spider-Man movie and he had never even seen or read the comics or nothing, right? We get done with the movie. This is like, I want to say we're 16 or 17 at the time, whenever it came out. And we're going through the credits. And he sees in the credits Tobey Maguire, Peter Parker / Spider-Man. And he goes, oh, Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And we looked at him like three of us looking at this one kid like, are you fucking serious right now? And like, he was combination high and dumb, so he actually through the movie did not follow, like with the mask on and everything. He's like, oh, it's a different person. I wonder what happened to the other guy that was on the screen a minute ago.
That's amazing. That's the first time I've heard that.
I haven't kept in touch with him, but that kid was hilarious just because he was like, you know that show Idiot Abroad? He would have been a good candidate for that.
Alrighty.
He was my Carl Plinkerton. By the way, did Naruto, I guess, not go to get his wrist checked out?
No, he said he hopes it gets better.
I spelled Zombie Grub's name incorrectly. Let me fix that, guys. It's clearly Zombie Grub. There we go.
Zombie Glen 6.
Zombie Glen 6. Did you see the? I felt so dumb because someone had tweeted saying Zombie Grub should play in the losers match for.
TKO. Yeah.
But I was like, that's a little bit rude. And I did not intentionally put Zombie Glen 6. My phone auto-corrected Zombie Glen 6 because I have typed Zombie Glen 6 more on my phone than I have typed Zombie Grub on my phone. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's roll with it.
I loved it because he was confused, right? He was like, who? What? Yeah.
All right. I forgot I was supposed to go reset the bot. All right, guys. Once we get the game going, I'll go restart the bot or try to at least.
Okay, and we're ready.
Alright, so I'll put the camera on you after the intros, and I'll run to the other room and redo the bot.
Okay.
What do you think here, Zombie? Is the bot a frozen? B, the computer restarted due to some manual update? Or C, it's overheated?
Overheated.
Alright. Well, we'll do the intros first, and then we're going to find out. In the lower right, play for Flipside Tactics. Guys, girls, get hyped for the MCan man himself, MCanning.
In the upper left, as the Red Zerg 4NA, it is a, Lambo.
Yeah, I'm actually going to add that to the overlay before. So camera's on you, and then... Stupid Lambo. Use a real name. I'm just going to be honest about this. Whether you're a top-tier Korean player using a barcode, or whether you're using a silly troll account like this, just show up to tournaments with your name. Why not? Just be unnecessarily difficult. Okay, I go fix the bot. One sec.
Alright. So, Would have loved to see an MCanning against a Terran, but Terran was actually in short supply. Fortunate, because you know, the Terran bias is real, but setting up against the Zerg, setting against Lambo here, I'm curious. I mean, it's all about disruptors with this guy. That's what everyone loves about him, and certainly you can still do it in this matchup. Although I feel like it doesn't catch Zerg off guard as much as sometimes it does Terran. It is still not too common. We didn't see any disruptors at all in the last EVP. In fact, I didn't even see Colossus. We just saw Immortals and a Warp Prism from that Robo. But the point is, Colossus kind of making a comeback on a more professional, I guess, stage like GSL and whatnot. But disruptors, they're still hard to use. Maybe a supplement to an already established army that's not usually the dominant units. MCanning isn't just about the disruptors. She'll have some other tricks up his sleeve. It's a best of 5. He'll certainly need some variety if things aren't going his way.
So it was, in fact, a stupid update.
Damn. Second choice.
The bot should be back online now, and if it's not, I'm not gonna fiddle with it because I just don't want to get up again. Not because I'm lazy, just FYI, just because everything is so sore and I feel wrecked.
Don't blame you. Well, just went over a couple of the notes about MCanning. Lambo, I feel like we haven't seen in a little while. Kind of the, I mean, there's so many good Europeans there that it's very easy to fall behind in the big names, right? Team Liquid guys always fan favorites. Team Liquid and just long established periods of competition. You have a Laser who's just recently in GSL, so his name's always been on the people's tongues, as well as that BlizzCon run. And who else here?
Well,
Nurchio, one of the best in the world. But Lambo kind of falls behind in that regard.
Well, I feel bad because I am like a big Lambo fan. Every time we talk about him, I get hyped to cast him. I've really enjoyed watching him on his streams too. I think he's very good at how to say this, like walking you through his thought processes. Like he's a smart guy, and that's why I think I get a lot of the respect for him. But I don't know if he did his homework. If he didn't respect his opponent enough to do the homework, then he's going to be surprised by MCanning. There's no doubt about it. And I do want to note, it's not always just disruptors with this guy. MCanning is probably best known for his disruptors, but he can play many other styles. And what I like about this opening is like it's a standard opening. It's pretty expected, if we want to call it that much. But if Lambo did do his homework and he's expecting him to rush out disruptors and do something silly, then this works super like counterintelligence.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. Mind game on a mind game, but so far that Overlord speed has done well. I mean, 2 Overlord speed should just about see everything. Honestly, even a slow Overlord, if it has a pillar to be up on, should see something like where MCanning has put it. Kind of the most obvious spot possible, so like hoping it doesn't get seen. But it is just a typical opener. Lambo, I guess, we mentioned some things about him, but maybe not so much like his playstyle, and that it just usually seems to be that most Zerg players, aside from very few and some very specific games, are just playing Ling, Bane, Ling, Hydra. Swarm hosts, I guess, are attempted in this matchup occasionally, but yeah, it's more of like what type of attack are you doing with Ling, Bane, and Hydra?
They have been making a more regularized appearance, I suppose, but the matchup, as much as it's come down to the fact that you're expecting Hydralisks and Banelings and what have you, you're also expecting charge lots and other things, like this opener, which is old school and not all surprising. So for this, the reason I really enjoy this matchup and why I'm excited to see MCanning and Lambo is like, if it is about as standard as you would expect it to be, then it's going to be a game of control. And while Lambo might outclass MCanning when it comes to, like, say, macro, I know MCanning's got control.
Yeah. Saw some of it there. Took advantage of Queen's pushing forward a little bit too much. And now there's the Overseer. Everything should be fine and dandy. Those should be turning into Archons. I mentioned like it should be about Ling, Bane, Ling, Hydra, but what type of timing or what type of playstyle it's going to be. And so far, okay, I was gonna say Lambo has not gotten his +1 melee, so maybe like just an attempt to all in. This is quite bad. I mean, credit to Lambo for chasing that so far. I don't blame MCanning for thinking that would be a safe place, but he could have just waited till after the rocks and probably been able to save at least one of those.
Well, I'm pretty stoked for the possibility of disruptors here. Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but for MCanning, you know, we see storms as the only answer to hydras. We see Colossus sometimes out of desperation. We really don't see disruptors, and I'm hoping that's what it's going to be.
Me too. I think, honestly, okay, there's disruptors. But honestly, just when I see Blink as opposed to anything else first from my Twilight Council nowadays, I just like... and it's MCanning, I suppose, right? Like, I'm just like, okay, it's gotta be disruptors. Which it is. The good news is that disruptors might not shoot up. You do still have that Blink with some decent upgrades, hopefully. So the Spire that Lambo is getting won't be as devastating, in fact, against many other typical Protoss styles of play where you do get Charge and Immortals and no Blink and no Phoenix.
Well, definitely the grab bag of everything you need for Zerg. Overlords spreading all over the freaking map right now. This is one of the downsides to MCanning not playing with Stargate. You don't have a Phoenix roaming around to clean up Overlords. You don't have any threat, so Lambo just got, I want to say, like 70% of the map in vision with that move out.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, once the Lings are taking out on the pathways here, he won't have the main part of the map, the main middle part of the map controlled, but he certainly has anti-War Prism, like the War Oracles, and to just like run by. Like, nothing's really going to get past him in that way. Most he has to worry about is really like a direct attack that comes pretty hard and fast.
Well, Lude, secondly, I'm really worried that there's not enough Stalkers yet. Archons are great if it's a head-on engagement, but there's no chasing with Archons.
Right. I mean, I feel like most Protosses, unless they really are planning an all-in or a timing attack, something like that, on 3 bases, right? It's not about them moving out and looking for positioning. It is about them just waiting for the Zerg to do that. It's just the way that it is. Gone now in Legacy of the Void. So the 4th base comes down, and that's where we're going to see most of the fights revolve around. This has been the case for a year plus now. Certainly on Abyssal Reef. As long as Abyssal Reef has been in here, this has always been the contention point. But shield upgrade, I like it. I mean, you always have Stalkers with +2. That's the natural thing to say. But yeah, if you're gonna get a lot of Archons, and shields will help.
I think the plus weapons would be a lot bigger of a priority if there was way more Mutalisks, but not really any. Disruptor comes in, doesn't quite hit the mark, but there's a couple more Disruptors where that came from.
They're about to... Oh! See, that's what he was looking for too, which is kind of funny. I feel like he had one more.
He used all 4.
Yeah, he used all 4, I guess, yeah. Miscounted. It might still be enough. Stalkers can take a few more Baneling hits, quite a few more Baneling hits.
Well, the army deficit's still the problem. It might hold here, but it still costs him a base cancel. Lambo, as I mentioned before, he's got macro. There's no question about it. So reinforcing with 14 plus Hydras behind this.
Yeah, and getting a hive and upgrades. So that was still a very good fight for Lambo. Absolutely, those Disruptors not doing quite as much as they should have.
It's not even should, but really it's could, because Lambo was splitting. Like, even the Banelings were getting split there before they, like, I guess, collapsed at the very end. And only one of those 4 Disruptors really got a good hit. One missed, and the other 2 were, like, so-so.
Yeah. Well, Viper's always interesting to see, I guess, nowadays in PvZ. Like, Quick Hive really is, too. I feel like a lot more games are revolving around ending the game on Lair. But Vipers, you can just yank those Disruptors forward and to kill them. And the Stalkers won't really want to blink after that either, because Banelings and Hydras will be waiting. So, you know, usually High Templars have already been made. That's what you're making your Archons out of, so feedback is a dangerous tool. Not so for MCanning.
Someone in the channel wants to know what's the score between EU and NA. Well, we weren't actually keeping score for that, but technically it's 2-0 for EU at the moment.
Yeah, 5-1. Or 6-1. That's how this fights work.
Ooh, no. MCanning. Obliterated. 23 probes go down. That's gonna leave a mark.
That is quite terrible. Lambo at 84 drones, and upgrade's going to be pretty good. I don't see +3 melee this fast very often.
So
Those lings will have a kick.
for me, a lot of this game, in terms of like where it started to fall apart, wasn't even this last fight around here with the base getting canceled. It was the Dark Templar in the early game getting shut down so hardcore. Spore crawlers were down. The timing was supposed to be fast enough that he'd catch him off guard. He didn't. And like this has just gone really bad since that point.
Right. I mean, catching the 2 Archons, that's a significant mineral dump if they do want to replace those. And if they don't, that just means you get away with so much macro-wise.
It's only one disruptor shot left. The abducts were so good. One of them just like interrupted the shot. The other one killed the disruptor. But maybe Lambo getting a little bit greedy here. Stalkers can certainly clean up what's left.
You know, if there's one more disruptor, especially on that big group of hiders to the left.
Even if he took that fight, I think he knew the problem was there's more coming behind it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry guys, I keep microing the light off because I'm do everything I can to reduce how warm it is in here. Come out of game screen, I'm like creepy dark mode. But okay, so not a great start for MCanning, but maybe it's the morning wake up warm ups. I don't know. Where are we at here? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to respond to somebody else with something. What's the next map? What we got coming up?
Odyssey.
So I know that we haven't cast 100% of the same games recently. In fact, we've been bouncing back and forth a while. But have we? I haven't. Have you caught any games where that base with the 3 gases has ever been taken on this map?
We caught that one game where you brought it up specifically because of that.
I don't remember it. I was just thinking on it like yesterday while we were casting. And I'm like, nobody takes this base. And there's like no build that you can cheese out where a 3rd gas is worth like proxying like your base there or something, right? Like,
yeah, it's really not an easy base to take. No, I think I've seen at this point 2 games. And both are because it's, you know, went for a very, very long time.
by the way, MCanning in the lobby says they don't call him a Lambo god for no reason. Ooh. Trying to suck up to his opponent.
So he's merciful? I don't think that actually works.
You don't know. Maybe Lambo doesn't get his ego fed often. So now that he has, he's like, oh yeah, I'll let you win a game so that this goes on a little bit longer and you keep giving me compliments.
Why not?
I wish I was good enough at this game to toy with my opponents like that. In the top left, he's down a game at the moment, but he's going to keep trying his best because he's fighting for North America. It's MCanning.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is Lambo.
By the way, not to take any, I guess, anything away from any of the players that came out to compete today, but I was a little bit sad. A couple of the players we wanted to get weren't able to show up, and that's why we kind of made it into NA versus EU, even though that wasn't the initial plan. For example, Probe, I was really hoping to get on board for this. He would have been a really interesting guy to watch. He's been doing quite well in the Australian scene, top of the game over there. So he unfortunately was caught in a limbo period of travel, so he couldn't attend, and a couple of the other folks we invited couldn't either. As everyone's starting to get prepped for Valencia, which is fast approaching.
Yeah. And servers end up being a big deal too.
Yeah, some people straight up will not play cross server no matter what the money value is.
Yeah. Well, these guys didn't mind. Jon Snow was even born in the ping.
Well, I wasn't surprised to see Snoot and TLO. They've actually been pretty, I guess, relaxed about playing cross server. There's some folks out there, Neeb, Snoot, you know that they might ask for a particular server, but they'll never be like, oh, I can't play this. This is gonna be.
Except this time.
Oh,
Neeb was asked.
Oh, I don't know about Neeb. Okay. Well, okay. When Neeb's in North America, he doesn't mind.
Yeah, no, it was funny. Actually, it was the coincidental. I guess he brought it up because it's usually something where it's usually Neeb's a pretty good. In fact, he was I wasn't initially thinking of him, and then someone suggested, and I was like, oh yeah, he's usually pretty good about it. Maybe it's a Korea thing. Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny to think about how his latency sitting at home in whatever East Coast is better globally than his internet in Korea would be, where it's supposed to be the best internet in the world.
It is kind of weird though, because NAE seems to be the best place to be. Like, obviously, if you don't like having lag, then wherever the server is the best place to be. But if you don't mind like a little bit, and it seems like the players on NA East are always like, no, it's perfectly fine. No, it's fine. No, it's even better. Like, no, we'll do you. You know, you're good. You play on Europe. Like, I don't know what it is. Because I've also, the limited times I've played cross-server at home on NA East, I've always been just like, I never even feel anything. Like, nothing's wrong with this.
You know what we need to do? Here's a sick idea for a tournament, right? This is where we team up with that guy Wardy that we hate, right? Public Feud and all that. But we get like a 2-pronged live event, but it's all online play. But you have half of the players playing live at like the East Coast whatever event. Then you get Wardy to get some of the EU players together on the EU side of the event, and we're casting like with them or something. But the players are playing cross server, even though it's kind of like half live on each side. Almost like the longest battleship game of all time. You know what I mean?
Battleship. I'm trying to picture this in my brain.
Like, okay,
I'm getting it.
In a dumb hypothetical, you take like let's say 8 North American players, but you all bring them to a venue on the East Coast. Take 8 European players, put them all in the same venue on the Europe coast. In Britain, somewhere. But the point is, like, you consolidate them, so it is a live event, but in 2 different parts. You know, I think it could be kind of cool.
The best part about that was the Europe coast. No, that does sound. It's a fun idea.
Geography was my strongest. No, not even gonna pretend. Thank you, Aquanuts, by the way, for the 33-month resub, and Zip Syrian for 26. Just to get this out of the way, and then Mario 8787 was a brand new Prime sub.
Nice.
That was all done because we finally have that move out. But this game, perhaps not entirely like the last. No Dark Shrine Reno. It's just Blink.
Yeah, completely different, really. All in, 2 base, Blink Stalkers.
Whoa.
I mean, he's only working off of 5 gateways, so it's like, you know, is that really so bad? But keep in mind, he's delaying a lot of other things for it. 4th gas, 3rd base, upgrades, better units than Blink Stalkers, right? Like, there's a lot of things missing. And unfortunately, it was so easily and quickly scouted by Lambo that he is totally, absolutely prepared. I don't know how MCanning does this, because there's no variability about Stalkers. You can micro them to the best of the ability, and that's cool.
Well, so this goes right into what I like about MCanning, though, that I mentioned before. Like, it's not just disruptor control. Like, he's actually got really good control of his units. Usually, the micro's not a problem, but, ooh, he just walked into a corrosive bile, so maybe I'll shut up and eat my words.
Well, I think micro and miss micro of your opponent can be a lot of supply when it's with splash units, right? These units are not splash.
He's making some mistakes here.
That too, of course. But I think that it's. I mean, Blink Stalker all ends up 2 bases. The reason they're not done very much, and that's because they're supposed to be a complete flipping surprise. So this absolutely wasn't, and that's it.
It's cutting around desperately, but there's no +1 behind this. There's no transition to charge lots. It's a weak all in. It doesn't help too, because like MCanning definitely slipping there with some of the move commands and doesn't quite hit the blinks when he needed to.
Yeah.
It's disheartening too when you're a fan of somebody like this, and I'm not trying to paint him in a negative light, but it's like I've seen him do better on his stream even. It's just kind of like, I don't know if he's just panicking because it's a tournament, or maybe he really did get caught off guard by Lambo being prepared for him.
Yeah, so totally prepared. That might have been it. As you can see on the production tab, MCanning's trying to macro out of this, so there is probably a world where he, you know, on stream, for instance, where he does an okay job, kind of surprises them, but not really, but still does, like, you know, it keeps his War Prism alive and does have a lot of Stalkers. And his Disruptor timing is just perfect to save his ass. But this is not that game. You know, he's still gonna have to wait for Disruptor to actually pop out after this Immortal. And there just really was no pressure from the Stalkers. The fact that it's another War Prism is like the good news, I think. Maybe he can pull Lambo back. He has to cancel a third base, but he is getting some very surprising warp-ins. Far more surprising than Blink Stalkers were. It's unfortunate that he's not really getting the numbers here. It's looking a little bit better.
It is. It really is, but this is still far from snowballing. I mean, the best thing this did do was pull the army back. This gives him time to build disruptors back at home, finish up those extra couple of missing gateways. But missing things like last hits on the queens for Lings and not microing at the very end of that could have been done a little bit cleaner. But not to nitpick, it did the main job. It brought the army back home.
Oh, no.
Oh, that feel when the cannon is not just the only thing blocking it out.
Yeah, he has all important structures on the front line. There's nothing that you're just like, ah, that's fine to kill. Usually it's a gateway, but even that feels a little bit important.
Yeah, you have to kill the other cannon too. There we go. He's trying to push it out. If that worked, that would have been super sick, because you can actually push units through unpathable areas with force fields. Not there though, unfortunately. He was trying so hard to not have to kill that.
Oh, that hurt to watch.
By the way, once again, amazing Overlord spread out of Lambo as he takes control of the map. Vision everywhere. No chance of Warp Prism sneaks by.
Right. And that is the one thing that could kill him. I mean, the Warp Prism might still surprise him. After all, he is rallying a lot of his units, or all of his units forward here. But they should never be unscouted and have the extra 8 seconds or whatever to respond. It's moving in fact, right now.
Lings are going to be dangerous if this becomes a sandwich attack. There's not enough force fields. I don't know why it's opening the rocks. I feel like that's just going to help Lambo.
Oh boy, 100 supply to 180. The Warp Prism, it was denied, but it's a handful of Lings in the main. Luckily there's no Hydras, so it lives. But it's already, it's not doing very much. And MCanning's gonna need quite a few more disruptors before I believe in his power of the comeback. In fact, now we have Lambo going for double Overlord drops. Oh!
Well, that's the type of hit that makes you feel good, but still doesn't bring him back into this just yet.
Right.
Someone in chat wants to know where Zombie Rub's from originally. She's actually coming from Latvia, guys. She's done a really good job working on her accent over the 4 years we've been casting together, though. I've been really impressed by it.
Why is it taking me so long to learn Korean if I already learned English this well?
Because English was so difficult, it took all your faculties. Finds a pretty nice disruptor hit. Makes a lot of green goo on the ground. But there's a very interesting attack happening in the main, and it's a double Overlord drop of Lings. These do have melee upgrades, so they can shoot through buildings pretty quickly. Nice quick response out of MCanning, though, with that hold position.
Yeah. These are currently only +1 as well, so that I thought these were going to be Banelings for sure, so that's the surprise, but maybe when +2 finishes, that's when the Baneling rain comes in. These aren't the only Lings getting into the mineral lines. Here you go, at the third.
Lings,
MCanning's trying to push. It's not looking great.
Yeah, the attempt to counterattack is going to maybe take out a gold, but the gold's not even really being used. Sorry, pulled the drones away, transferring down to this other base that he took down to the south. So MCanning loses the third base, a pretty important base at this point in the game too. There is a world out here though, guys. Like with no over exaggeration, where the disruptors get such good hits that Lambo can't play anymore. But I feel like the army supply is so good, it would take some serious miscontrol for that to happen. First disruptor hit, misses. Second disruptor hit, a little bit weak. Lambo's got to be careful biding his time for these engagements, though. Normally you don't mind. It can take a while. But this is great for MCanning to get cooldowns up on those disruptors again. Oh, but that blink exposes all the disruptors. A good hit goes off, but it's not going to be enough. Full surround coming down, and GG. Lambo takes a 2-0 lead in the series. It's been 29 minutes since our last commercial break, though, guys. So we're going to go for a 2-minute break. And we'll see you soon for Game 3, which is possibly the decider when we get back. All right, folks, we're back. Let's just hop to the in-game scene. This countdown has begun. Getting into game number 3, which is maybe the decider match at this rate.
Yeah. One macro game. One all-in. I like the macro game more. I know it didn't work out either, but I like it more.
Well, game number 3. Spawning here in the top right. Playing for America. It is MCanning.
And in the bottom left, as the blue Zerg from the European coast, it is Lambo.
If I wasn't the one observing, I would have just left the game. You were just saying Rifkin has left the game message.
You know, the good news is that someone will only watch this VOD and just think that I don't know where he's from, you know? So,
he's from the German coast.
Yeah.
Actually, as I make that terrible joke, I'm actually unsure if Germany doesn't actually touch any water, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure it touches
fairly
water,
certain.
but, you know.
Okay, a
it's
giant
ocean.
body of water. Excuse me.
That's the question. It does a little bit.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, it actually kind of like it actually has an entire coastline to it. I'm looking at it right now, by the way. Like, I thought it might touch coast, but I had no idea either before I'm like trying to cheat my way and feel smart, you know, and look smart.
The coast of Germany. There you go.
Yeah, but I feel like France is definitely more popular.
So, well, so far today, the NA players have not been able to bring it. I do want to state that I actually have quite a bit of faith in the last matchup today. The last best of 5 coming up after this, regardless of like what you feel about either of the players, and maybe Euthermal's a super secret Super Saiyan that we don't know about because he's just been gone for a while. Fact of the remains, Game Time beat Euthermal at Austin. We know he's got what it takes to do it.
Yeah.
The rest of these guys, it's kind of like, well, we don't know. They've never really played together before, so it was kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, again, like the show match wasn't originally supposed to be NA versus EU type thing, and it's gonna end up being that way. But it was interesting to see, like, specifically for me, like peeling what he could do, because we just don't see actually that many cross-server tournaments anymore. In fact, the last one that I really feel happened, I'm sure there's other ones that happened, I just can't remember them, but the one I feel most strongly about was the Ting tournament, right? You know, you do the region groups first, but then you do eventually get to cross-server, and that's the last time I remember like having to worry about that.
Actually, it's funny, on that note too, just speaking of the cross-server thing, somebody bumped the Team Liquid thread from like
Oh yeah, Cruel Intention.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. Like, we have long since abandoned that tournament. Like, that's very clearly not fucking happening.
Okay, what blew my mind is that this guy went through the Wikipedia of BaseTradeTV, which by this point, by the way, is like
massive.
stopped and updated.
It's so big that they don't even update it anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. And the guy looked through like hundreds of tournaments that were bothered to be listed and goes, that one's not even done. What the hell, man?
Well,
this is bullshit.
Yeah, actually, it does stick out if you look at the Wikipedia page, because it's the only one that doesn't have like a winner/prize payout.
Oh, I've looked at the Wikipedia page, and while yes, that's true, if you really wanted to go through all of it, there is still a big old list of prize pools. So it felt very weird just to bring it up again, basically, instead of just being like, well, I guess it's not happening. I've looked it up because I'm always curious about what is noted. Because, for instance, like our best of 69 hasn't been noted, I don't think, and that made me sad.
You know what?
In the descriptions.
I still get so salty about the fact that we should have been compensated by HTC for that, because I remembered how much they demanded from it. That was such an eye-opening moment for me, though, because of the way that we got kind of taken advantage of for it. It made me very aware of like how not to be taken advantage of in the future.
Yeah.
The best of 69 was a very interesting pivotal point in BaseTradeTV, but also definitely a marker we left on the map. A mini-map that we also left a marker on.
Yeah, it's those things that I don't blame them not knowing, right? But ones that I will add one day. All these things that have been done.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, speaking of fixes, MCanning fixed his probe rally, and I finally told Blizzard about the observer lag.
Oh, hopefully that gets fixed. The Oracle didn't really get anything done. Kind of sucks. So you guys wasn't watching over there. It's more interesting in the Void Ray follow-up. So we'll clear up all the overlords and keep them safe from any early roach pressure.
Yeah. Thank you to Black Spade Kamui for the 613 sub.
Oh, you beat me too. I was just about to jump on that.
Oh, well, what's up, indeed.
Okay. I wasn't prepared for that. That was awesome. But I'm not prepared for this either. Is it just straight to carriers? I mean,
Yes,
don't get me wrong. This is like, okay, gold, golden armada, piss your opponent off, but to rush this out is so dangerous.
It absolutely is. What's so funny though is that it might just work, right? Like you don't expect it.
It's just crazy enough to work.
There is one thing that can make it not work, and that's I feel like if Lambo was bothering to click on that oracle and go like, oh no, it doesn't actually show +1. Never mind. I never actually thought about it. It's spell damage. Well, shit. Yeah, there's nothing to tell him unless he gets in there and scouts, which he's only scouted a Stargate.
Was beautiful.
That
Good
was
stasis trap.
Yeah. But even though it's not scouted crazy enough to work, right? It still might be broken. I mean, what you're getting nowadays still works out perfectly fine against it. It's not like you're going for Roach Ravager all wins anymore. Or 3 carriers will help a lot with that. You're going for Hydras and Banelings and Lings to get into all the crevices and all the probe lines and then Hydras can hopefully deal with the carriers before they're in higher numbers.
This is going to come out at an astonishing rate, and I really like it. But I'm more impressed with the air upgrade timings. The rush to it, +1, it's weird. Honestly, it's just plain weird. But if he's on +2 and +3 weapons fast enough, Lambo might not actually be able to produce enough to deal with this. I'm just curious whether he's planning to play turtley at home with this, or whether MCanning's going to go for a quicker attack across the map. Because there's definitely advantages to both. Like, one is just bulking up and becoming unbeatable, and the other is catching your opponent before they're ready to do anything, and you've got this crazy weird upgrade lead.
Okay, I have a technical question about StarCraft now that I'm like really focusing on this. I know, but still.
Okay.
So, would the +1 show up on the Oracle if they actually activated its Pulsar Beam?
I do not believe so, because the Pulsar Beam itself is not an upgraded weapon. It's still a spell. But my thing here is he's been killing so much with the Void Ray all game, he must have been able to click on this at some point to see that.
Yeah, that's why I went over and I was like, oh, the Void Ray, right? That definitely would have shown it if he bothered clicking on it, but who really clicks on it? I think at this point, you might be a little suspicious you are clicking on it.
That's a lot of cannons.
It is. It's needed. Okay, so it's needed, yes, but I'm really worried that it's the wrong place. Yes, he has.
I do like the lot of Void Rays coming up next. One of the bigger fears, more than Hydras, is that Corruptors come into play. And that's where the Void Rays will be really, really effective. But Void Rays, not bad at fighting against Hydras either. Even with their 10 extra health, Void Rays are still pretty good units.
Yeah. Neural Parasites is always fun to see. Initially, I really thought it just always fell flat, but there have been a couple games where it's been the big difference maker.
These Banelings will, of course, one-shot the probes. No vision required as long as you manually detonate. It's bad for MCanning. Real bad for MCanning.
Oh.
So here's a follow-up odd question for this. In terms of, I guess, going back to the upgrades for a second here. I want to say no. I want to say no as if I know this, but if you Neural Parasite a Protoss unit that has +2, do you get a Void Ray that has +2, or does it reset to 0 because that's what your upgrades are?
I'm pretty sure you get the +2.
Well, I hope Neural Parasite comes into play so we can see. Because
yeah.
I'm more sure that you don't, but
I thought you just got the army as is entirely.
I don't know. We don't see enough Neural Parasites in play. Like, this is not like a common occurrence, but this will be nice. Like, no matter what he grabs with that, it just removes it from play at the very least. So you have like one less blank to have to fight.
It is usually priority on the mothership, and then what else after that? Well, that's what I'll be clicking on to see.
Yeah.
But Lambo is on 5 bases, one of them being a gold. You can certainly afford to place that a little while longer, but it is a little concerning that MCanning has gotten to 4 bases, no problem. You know, lots of Stargates, and perfecting his air army. The only thing that's missing are the Archons and the Storms. And high
Yes.
Templars in general, also for feedbacks.
I agree. The storms, I think, are a much stronger element to this. As much as everybody would like to cry about Void Rays and Carriers, and they still might work for this game. Don't get me wrong. It is usually the power of these being backed up by storms or Archons, and that combination ends up being too good. But he's clearing up a lot, and Lambo just can't poke in here. He's been able to buy time by putting Spore Crawlers up, and the Carriers can't really advance. But now he's moving on to things like Ultralisks against Void Rays. Those are just going to prismatically align, and those Ultras are going to wish they weren't Ultras.
Yeah, the Ultras I always thought were more so for the ground army. Specifically the High Templars that we're talking about, they don't exist. Because even if they die, they hopefully kill the High Templars and waste the storms. But I'm wondering why there's no High Templars.
This feels like the Protoss equivalent of going mech, really, is the way I describe it, in terms of, like,
Sure.
Lambo might not know how to approach this properly, but I guess with Ultras being a little bit more tanky, they can soak the hits, allowing maybe some of the Banelings to get escorted in, maybe some of the Lings to run by. I can certainly see some ways that these Ultras might be useful. And he's been pretty good at continuing to get in here and poking his opponent. The +2 Banelings, of course, destroy this mineral line was a good example of that. Carrier run by? Okay, that's expensive.
Yes, it is. One of the scariest things, of course, about this long process of getting maxed with the Protoss player is that the Zerg player gets maxed out a lot sooner, a lot faster, a lot better. Not this game quite, but this game it is more about the amount of infestors that are available.
Oh, he's building. I can't see whether he's got the upgrades or not.
Yeah, right? Used.
Didn't grab the mothership, which I find really interesting.
Right? Yeah, I'm like waiting for that to happen, but the Neopets have been used.
So he just plops in some fungals. He's killed a lot of the interceptors. The Ultras are kind of like expecting to be killing things underneath this, but there's nothing to kill. He still broke the main army though.
Right. That's pretty disappointing, and that is really the difference of having any high cons, you know, for Splash down there. This single carrier is not that great at base sniping.
No, and I love the massive amounts of queens because, well, a little bit laughable to look at. Their anti-air is not terrible, and their transfuses will out-heal the damage of a Void Ray. GG, well played. I thought the Golden Armada had a chance, Zombie Grub. I really did.
I thought so too. I really did.
Alright, well,
High Templars, man.
a lack thereof. This leads into our last best of 5, our last round of 8 match today. Keep in mind, all that money we talked about, the $900 in prizing, that all comes into effect tomorrow. So we're going to go to, I guess, a small break. Try and hunt down Euthermal. Try and hunt down Game Time. Game Time's online. What a good guy. And we'll see you guys here in a bit.